Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Chinaza's Life. So in today's video, I wanted to give you guys a rundown of how I edit my YouTube videos. So I'll be sharing tips and tricks, what software I use, what programs I use, things that I do to edit more efficiently, and kind of just give a background because I know that so many people are looking to, create their own content nowadays. And a lot of the times it can seem like, very daunting, or like you may not really know what's going on. So this is just my way of sharing how I'm able to edit my videos as to, help you, or maybe you can learn some new techniques. So when it comes to software, Final Cut Pro is the GOAT. Final Cut Pro is my life.
It pollutes my life.
I have been using Final Cut Pro probably for the past 2-3 years, I want to say, and there is a payment for it. It is a one-time payment of $300, which is great, especially when you compare it to something like, let's say, the Adobe Creative Suite. Then you would pay $30 per month, which obviously adds up because it doesn't end after 1 year. And also currently Final Cut Pro is offering a 90-day trial version, so that's basically signing up for their program, no strings attached. Like, just make sure to cancel before the 3 months period, which I believe it's usually only 30 days. So definitely take advantage of that if you can. So for me, when it comes to my editing process, the first thing that I do is make sure that I have the actual files that I'll be editing stored either on an external hard drive or stored on my computer. The reason for doing this is so that the files are stored locally, and that way when you eject the memory card, the files won't disappear from the project. The first thing that I'll do is name the project file, and then from there I will import the footage into Final Cut Pro. I feel like I'm a very super organized person, so to me, like, naming a project specifically what it is versus just leaving it as, like, untitled folder, that just helps you when you're looking for a specific project, or when you're looking for a name of a video. You can just type it into the search bar and then you'll be able to find it if you close it and come back to it. So basically your timeline on Final Cut Pro is your project from start to finish. Now this is going to be all of the raw footage, basically unedited, unaltered. There's absolutely nothing done to these files. So this is when you can start to work. For a good portion of my videos, I am wearing a microphone, so that's also a separate footage that I'll have to also save onto my computer. And one of the first things that I'll do, especially when I have to sync the audio to the footage, I'll import the audio after I import the footage, and I'll basically zoom in to see where the audio is gonna match up, or at least to get a rough estimate. So I'll basically try to line them up to where they seem like they're gonna basically match in sound. And then from there, I'll have to either gray out the audio file or gray out the video file, which also has the audio and the video on it. So I'll basically line up the audio to match with the video, and also that video's audio, because those already are two separate files. So it's nice to be able to, like, stretch it out basically, which is basically using 2 fingers and zooming in. And then I'll go back and forth between graying out either the video with the audio or the audio from the microphone, and then basically test it for sound and see if, my mouth is moving at the same time that the audio is, because that's one of the things that, like, is so important to me, like, actually making sure the audio is synced up to the video. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Chinaza's Life. So this seems to be about right. What I'll do now is right click and press detach audio. So then now we're going to see that. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Chinaza's Life. This is just about right, so we can go ahead and delete this clip. And now this audio is synced, so I'll go ahead and repeat that process for the rest of the clips. And then I'll do something called making a compound clip, which is basically going to combine the audio from my microphone with the visuals from my camera. And then from there, I will go into my process that usually takes the longest amount of time, which is basically just actually having to watch the entire video. Basically, I'll do a rough cut, and what I mean by that is going through and kind of seeing what parts I may have been, like, hesitating, or I may have said something wrong, or if there's a specific part that I know that I want to cut out, I can just go through that quickly and go through my timeline quickly and basically be like, oh, like, it looks like, like, there's not a lot of sound here. And then from there, I end up, like, chopping off, like, 2 minutes here, 10 seconds here. So that just helps, because it's just a rough cut. but then at least you can sometimes get your footage down to, let's say it started at 1 hour. Now when you're actually going to be editing for precision or to be adding in sound effects, I prefer to be able to do that knowing that, okay, I have already gotten out a good chunk of this project. When it comes to the sound effects that I use, there are some typical sounds that you will see me using quite frequently in my videos. So a lot of the times I'll already know what sound I kind of want to go for, so I already kind of know what to search. So I specifically, if I want like a pop sound, you can literally just search on YouTube like pop sound. Once you find the right video that you're looking for, I head over to a site called vid2mp3.com. And with this website, you're basically able to take a link of any YouTube video, you copy the link and then you paste it over there, and then it basically rips you the audio. So now you have an MP3 file that you can just drag and drop. Now, when it comes to actually setting up where you're going to put it in your video, again, if you want it to be during a transition, you're gonna want to put it underneath the transition so that you know, like, okay, like, is this where I want it to be? And then sometimes you can just move it around, tweak it, see if it fits perfectly. And then when it even comes to that, sometimes the audio may get cut off or it may sound weird, but then you can actually open the timeline to be able to see deeper into what it is that you're doing. So yeah, some of my favorite sounds are the swoosh, the bottle cork, and also, of course, you can always just search like popular transition sounds, and then you'll be able to find like a whole video on YouTube where it's like, oh, these are the sounds that most popular YouTubers use. So then from there, they have the links to it as well. So then that's just, you know, a step easier for you if you'd rather do it that way so that you can just have all of the sounds. And then of course, you want to make sure that you save this sound too so that you don't have to keep on going back and forth, back and forth. So for me, I created a folder on my computer that is titled YouTube Songs, which by the way, I also use vid2mp3 when I am looking for a song to use for my videos. So when it comes to the music and how I found all these songs, a lot of the times you'll want to use copyright-free music, especially if you are trying to monetize your content. So YouTube, again, just going on YouTube and searching up copyright-free music. Sometimes I search copyright-free music upbeat or copyright-free music hip-hop, and there's great resources like Audio Library, that channel on YouTube. Something that I learned from one of my favorite YouTubers, which is Best Dressed, aka Ashley. If you guys don't follow her, make sure to subscribe to her channel. She's amazing. When it comes to choosing copyright-free music, she'll basically create a project file with just whatever song that she potentially wants to use, and then she'll export that file out, and then from there she'll upload it to her channel, but as an unlisted video, just to see, like, before she adds in the music, like, let me just make sure this song is good before I go ahead and add this song into my timeline. When it comes to the fonts that I use, I love to use Helvetica, I believe it is, in size 72. That's usually what I'll do, like my little insert, my mini blurbs or whatever I'm saying in a video. And something really cool that you can do with the fonts is, you know, adding on a stroke, so that basically makes it have a different outline color. So again, like just playing with the fonts, because sometimes like I like to keep it uniform with kind of just using that font for those type of specific little blurbs, but sometimes I'll switch it up. You can also use the tracking feature, and what that means, it basically creates space between each letter. So again, this can just spice up regular text to go into be something more complex. It depends on what it is that you're trying to do or trying to convey. And then something really cool is that you can put an effect over the text or a transition into the text as well. So sometimes I'll have text like fade in or fade out, and these are already built-in transitions that are already in Final Cut Pro. But speaking of which, when it comes to, you know, some more advanced transitions that you may not want to necessarily like do yourself, you can download a bunch of free plugins or free transitions. And for me, again, this is just as simple as going to YouTube and being like, free transitions, Final Cut Pro X, and basically someone will have a video, and in their video they'll have a link for you to go and download their free transitions. So one that I'll use pretty often, almost in every video, is these right sliding transitions. And I'll insert in where you guys can download this from and where I downloaded it from, because again, like, I just love to play around with different things, different transitions, different effects. And once I found this one, like, I fell in love with it, and that was just by literally just searching like free transitions. So again, guys, YouTube and searching things up on YouTube is your friend, because I got a bunch of free transitions, a bunch of free different effects that I can use. Of course, you can also pay for effects too, but if you're like me and you're kind of like, you know, like broke, but with a QUE, brocade. You know, you're gonna want to make sure that you're getting something for the low. Something that I started doing recently in a lot of my videos is kind of that zoom in effect. You're going to want to make sure to add a keyframe by clicking that button right there. Right where it says scale is where you'll be clicking, because this will scale all, not just one or the other side. And then you're going to go into the crop tool, and instead of it being set on trim, you're going to set it to the crop feature. And you're also going to go ahead and mark your spot basically. Now, for example, if I'm using it in this clip, I'm gonna want to move it down to where I want the zoom to stop basically. So let's say I just move it to the middle of the clip based on what I'm saying. So you're gonna want to hit another keyframe so that you're able to, and then you're gonna go ahead and crop to the point where you want it to only show items from. So let's say there, and then I'll go ahead and zoom in, and we'll go ahead and play it back. Add in like funny clips to my videos, so the way that I'm able to do so is again using that. And then the way that you're able to see how things are moving and to maybe possibly speed it up is if you go like this and then move everything back. So now that I moved it closer, add in like funny clips to my video. It'll be faster, and again, if I want it to be even faster, let's move it like this. I want to add in like funny clips to my videos. And then, oh, if you wanted to go back to normal after that, you would basically just create another keyframe. Let's say you change this back to 100. And then let's say you also mark all the crops and basically put them at 0. So this is resetting it to the original. So now we'll see that it should change like funny clips to my videos, so the way that I'm able to. And again, once you space these out, that's how you're able to have some things go either faster or slower. Also, when it comes to my editing style, something that I love to do is to edit in jump cuts. And basically what I mean by that is kind of editing out any extra breathing or any ums or different things like that. This is where the blade feature comes in very helpful. Basically the clicker is going to look like this, but you're basically going to go between two clips. And I like to just cut out any ums, any buts, different things like that. And just to kind of make the sound literally jump from one clip to other. To me, I believe that, you know, it just keeps the viewers more alert and different things like that. But again, looking at the sound bites and like actually just playing it over and over, and the more that you zoom in, the more that you can see, will definitely help you in achieving this style of editing. For example, if I had this longer cuts, and basically cuts, and like you see how I took that breath, I want to take that out. And basically what I mean to edit in jump cuts. And then that S sound is not necessary. Edit in jump cut. And basically what I mean by that is to edit in jump cut. And so now I cut off the S sound too much, so you're gonna wanna cut. And basically edit in jump cuts. And basically edit in jump. And something that you can do as well in this case is you can detach the audio from a specific clip, and you can let it run over a little so that while this one is ending, this video is playing, but hopefully it sounds good. So let's see. Jump cuts. And basically what I'm in jump cuts. And basically, and see how that S sound is still lingering? We're gonna just bring this back, which is basically making this part of the video like more mute. So this will be 0. And now let's see. Jump cuts. And basically what I'm in jump cuts. So I think a little bit more. Cuts. And basically jump cuts. Cuts. And basically jump cuts. And basically what I mean by that sounds good to me. So a lot of the times in my videos, you guys will see me add in like photos or just different, like basically a gallery in a sense, or like a picture as I'm talking about something or something pops up. So let's say that I want to add in a photo of this outfit that I wore, right? But I want to place it in a specific spot. So first we're going to drag and drop the photo down onto our timeline. And then what we'll do is kind of that same feature as before. So now we can see, obviously this is blocking my face. Let's say that I want it to be right here. So first what we'll do is kind of see So I just changed the X value, which is gonna move it to the right if it's a positive number, and to the left if it's a negative number. And let's make it a little bit smaller, and let's move it back to the right. Nope. Okay, so that looks good to me. Now let's say that I don't want it to just come up just like that. One thing that I could do is I can add in, let's say, one of my downloaded transitions so the picture can pop up in a cool way. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that. The great part about pictures as well is that, but if I want something more subtle, because we did see that it did kind of shake the screen, we can use the keyframes basically to be able to make it either slide in from the left or slide in from the right. So again, we'll use this first keyframe, and then it's helpful when you also show the video animation in this sense so that we can see exactly where the keyframes are. And since this is the first keyframe, that value is going to be a negative number, so we have to create a second keyframe where we want the number to eventually be. So basically for this first keyframe, I'll put 1300, and I want it to end up at 650. So I'm gonna move, like, let's say to right here, and add in another keyframe, and let's say that's 650. So now when I play the clip, watch what happens. The great part about pictures, you see how it just slid in like that? Perfect. Let's say that I want it to do the reverse effect at the end. You basically do the same thing, add in another keyframe. In this sense, it's already set at that 650 value. I'm gonna go ahead and make it 1300 at the end. And you'll be able to see how this just slides back away. One thing about me, especially when it comes to this software, is that I love to learn. So I'd say definitely challenge yourself, or definitely just try different things from what you usually do and kind of see what happens or what you get. Because that's something that I learned recently, which is basically just creating my own transitions in a sense. Going into generators and clicking on a custom generator, and you'll drag it on top of the clip, and you'll see that yes, it's covering the entire clip. But wait, so what we're going to do, let's say I just want to change the color. Let's make it pretty. Let's make it pink. So now we're going to go back and go to the keyframes basically, and this X is basically very important. I want it to basically come in, slide in from the right side to basically cover this amount of space. So what I'll do is set this to a positive number that'll be far away to be out of the frame. So let's say 2000. Okay, so 2000, that's perfect. Now let's say I want it to appear by this part of the video. So let's set this keyframe to, let's say 1400. Okay, yep, that's actually perfect. So now if I'm playing this video, we'll see what happens. Because that's something that so let's say that I had like text here, this would be perfect. And then again, if I want to make it slide out, I can basically first, let me cut this. But if I wanted to make it slide out the same way that it just got here basically, I'm going to make another keyframe. So that's set at 1400 and basically set it back to that original amount of 2000. And then let's see what it looks like as a whole. Because that's something that I learned recently. So obviously that was very quick because it is a short clip. But again, this is one of those things that the further apart or the closer that it is, then the faster or slower
Something that I
it'll
learned
go.
recently.
I do have a plugin installed for color grading called Cinema Grade, so that's going to be right here in my effects. So I'll go ahead and open the controls for that. And basically here you're able to change things like the lighting, making it like light or dark exposure wise. Contrast, I like to make it like a little bit gray, so this should be like the right amount. And then color, of course. And you always want to make sure that you're doing this with, at least for me, I do this with my screen up to the brightest amount, so that even if it is like a little low, then I can still be like, okay, like this is good or this is bad. So obviously you can see that my hair is like kind of gray looking, so this is probably not going to be the best grade for me. So in this case, I'm going to make the contrast go up a little just so that my hair looks blacker. And then the exposure, we're gonna bring down a little. And for the color, let's make it make my skin nice and warm. So this looks good to me, and something great about this as well is the shot matching feature. So I can go ahead and make a hero clip, which will be this one, and then the next one will be the clip that's next to it. So you're gonna go ahead and go to match shots. So it lets you do the side-by-side comparison. So you can be like, okay, well, this is what the old clip looks like. This is what the one that I want it to look like looks like. So let's go ahead and copy that correction, apply, and then you can see that this clip looks exactly like this clip now. So we're going to go ahead and exit out, and then we can see that it is applied here. I'll typically do this at the end of my editing process and basically formulate clips into kind of just one clip. For example, I would do something like this, new compound clip, and then just kind of apply this same preset to just this one giant clip. But since I'm not at that stage yet, I'm going to hold off, but that's basically how I would color grade. So sometimes I'll want to add in like funny clips to my videos, so the way that I'm able to do so is again using that same site, vid to MP3, but then the difference that you'll want to make is that you click on MP4 instead of MP3, and from there you're able to make any YouTube video into basically an MP4 clip. And then again, if I want to insert it between clips, I'll make sure to either blade between the clips or just insert it in there naturally. And basically again, like listen to it over and be like, like does this fit right? Like, is this okay? A lot of the times, like I'll take out the sound in a specific spot if I'm going to be inserting in a video, kind of again for dramatic effect and just because I'm extra like that again. Since a lot of the times I am working with such large files, my Final Cut Pro does tend to kind of run a little bit slow. Sometimes it starts to lag. So something that I'll do is I'll go to File, Delete Generated Library Files, and then you'll delete the render files, all, delete Optimized Media, delete Proxy Media, and then press OK. Because usually when you click on the title of the library, you'll be able to see just how much space the library is taking up. And a lot of the times you can see it's from the actual files and not even from the project that you're working on. So again, you'll want to delete that so that, again, you'll be able to edit more efficiently. And again, for a sit-down video like this, I'll probably use the same soundtrack. So something that you're gonna wanna make sure to do is to kind of mute the part of yourself talking so you can actually focus on hearing the sound. Because even though, yes, the sound is lower than you talking, as the viewer, you kind of are gonna notice like if the song just like skips and like doesn't flow smoothly. So what I like to do is drag and drop it into the timeline, of course, and let's say that I want to add in the same song twice, but I want it to like fade nicely. So basically we're gonna kind of zoom in to see kind of where the song is ending at, and then I'll copy and paste the same song. So as you can see, we have two of the songs here, but then what I'll like to do is mute these clips so that I can actually focus on like hearing the transition and making it sound as seamless as possible. I'll basically just spend my time doing this and just replaying over and over as far as the transitions part, just because I want it to sound really good. And then once I go ahead and find the perfect mix, I'll just like basically copy and paste this, let's say, and just paste it for the entire video to have that one soundtrack, now that I know the transitions sound good. And again, when it comes to picking the sound, sometimes you'll like to use the same songs over and over again, and that's fine because, you know, you're creating your style. That's for me personally. For my Wind Down Wednesday videos, I started using like the same soundtrack. And then the great part about that is that you can literally just go back to your old projects and copy and paste the whole thing from one project into another project. One of the last things that I want to share with you guys is how I create my vertical videos. Sometimes I'll insert my vertical videos that I've already created, specifically for Instagram or for Twitter. Since, you know, we are able to have that larger story frame, I typically like to create my promo videos to be in that long feature. So to create the vertical videos, which is what I typically do when I am creating like a promo clip for IG or to put on Twitter, I'll go to New Project, and you're gonna wanna make sure that in the format, you change it from this 1080p 1920 by 1080 to a custom, and you're gonna put 1080 by 1920. And again, I'll label this Edit Videos IG, just so I know the difference between the two videos. And you'll see that we have a new project clip. And let's go ahead and upload some of the footage that I'll actually be using, which is going to be this video. And I'll basically do that same process that I did for my source video. I'm going to have to rotate this. So -90. And that's basically how you get the vertical video, and then everything else is basically the same. When it comes to things like my subscribe buttons, I basically found those again on YouTube by just searching like subscribe button plugin, subscribe button transparent background. And you're gonna wanna make sure that it's a transparent background. You're basically able to drag and drop that file over the desired area of your video. And then you can basically set in the numbers of where you want it to appear. And again, you can maybe use transitions to make it bigger, make it smaller, move it around. For some of them, I do have them as a plugin, so it all depends on what you're trying to do. If you'd rather have it as a plugin, which again is something that's saved and built into your Final Cut Pro essentially once you add it in, or you can create a separate folder that'll always just have certain things that you're already planning on using. So guys, that brings me to the end of this video. I hope that you all enjoyed and were able to learn something. Of course, when you're looking at editing software for the first time, it can seem a little daunting, but I definitely want to encourage you all to, especially now during this time, take advantage of that free trial of Final Cut Pro X. Again, it's not even about what editing software that you use. It's really about how you apply what it is that you have. Again, I used to use iMovie for a good amount of time, and I was able to just learn and continue to teach myself things. And again, by watching other people's videos on how they edit their videos, I was able to just like learn so many different tips and tricks and shortcuts to, you know, like just help make my life easier, which is kind of the point of why we're all here, you know? We should be helping one another. I think that it's important to kind of like find your own style, because again, you can obviously like get inspiration from someone, but again, you don't want to have to copy them. But for me, for example, like again, how I said I found inspiration from Best Dressed, or like I saw that she did a certain thing. Just learn to do things in your own way. Again, things take time. Don't feel like so like defeated if you don't understand Final Cut Pro in the first day, because again, there's literally things that me, someone who's been using the program for the past 2 years, that I'm just learning now and today. And always challenge yourself, like always try to do something different in one of your videos, or always try a new technique, because you never know what you're gonna stumble on, you never know what you're gonna find. So whether that's switching up the song that you use, or switching up a transition, or creating your own transition like I said that I did, those are just some ways, you know, that you can stay engaged and stay creative and stay learning, because again, we're all just trying to get better and better each day. Let me know how you guys like this video, or if there are any similar videos or video ideas or suggestions that you have for me. I'd be happy to hear them. And yeah guys, thank you so much for watching and supporting. I almost forgot to say this. I almost forgot in the last video. If you are not subscribed to my channel, make sure to pause this video and hit that subscribe button, and as well as turning on your post notifications so that you are notified when I am posting a new video. Super excited to keep on bringing you guys content, and I just feel like super charged up. Make sure you guys are following me on Instagram at Shinazah's Life, and also on Twitter at Shinazah's Lens. And I appreciate you guys' support as always, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!